From Tianjin, China, welcome to the GCN show.
From Altair, Tenerife, welcome to the GCN show.
From the Tour Down Under in Adelaide, South Australia, welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show. Coming up this week, following on from last week's coverage of smart bike tech at the Consumer Electronics Show, we asked the question, could tech ruin cycling?
We also check out Sagan's new wheels, perhaps less tech, more paintwork. We celebrate the return of a cow and pass judgment saying hot or not on the final World Tour kit reveal for 2017.
We've also got all of our usual segments and we relive the best moment in Matt Stevens' entire career.
Oh, it seems like it was yesterday.
Not the Nationals again, mate.
No. This time he outsprints Andre Greipel. On last week's GCN show and on a cheeky little bonus video, we discussed some of the best and the worst new bike tech at the Consumer Electronics Award. And whilst it's fair to say that nothing there was really going to set the world on fire.
Apart from the smart hairbrush stand, which I found for you.
Well, that's no use to me now, is it?
No.
What was very noticeable were all the comments that you guys left underneath those videos.
Yeah, some of you clearly are really interested in the new developments, but there are others of you out there that are, how should we say, less than impressed. Let me read some of the choice ones out. Russell Gowers, nothing but gimmicks. Andy Ball, what does this have to do with pure pleasure? Fox D. Mulder, all the stuff here is pointless consumerism and marketing. And Peter Irving puts it most succinctly of all, garbage, all garbage. So we thought we'd better ask the question, is tech ruining cycling?
Well, should we look at the facts?
Yeah,
because essentially, in the last 30 years, bikes have got lighter, they've got stronger, and they've got more aero, which means that we can all ride faster and further for less effort.
Well, that is a good point, actually, and that certainly doesn't sound like a bad thing. I suppose, though, it's fair to say a lot of people simply don't like the look of modern cutting-edge bikes, and that's fine. There is a timeless appeal to a classic bike. The fact is, though, I'm not entirely sure that that is the issue here. I think this is about electronics, and more specifically, gadgets.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I mean, there are still people out there outraged at the gradual transition from mechanical to electronic group sets. And Di2 has been in the mainstream for pretty much 6 years now, and people still don't like it. But I think we should look at the example of the Pro Peloton here, because those, after all, are the guys who want to ride the fastest with the equipment that's the most reliable. And they have pretty much across the board embraced electronic gears.
Yeah.
Now, there are some notable exceptions, amongst them Alberto Contador, who...
Oh, mate, that's funny. I thought Contador on Di2 last year.
No, definitely on mechanical.
Oh, was it?
He's only ever been on a mechanical, apparently.
Yeah, right, yeah.
He doesn't like it, therefore he doesn't have to ride it, which is fair enough, I think.
Yeah, if you don't like it, don't use it.
Yeah.
But what about smart tech then? Because I do think that is slightly different. My own personal view on it is I won't use it if it makes my life harder in some way. So, for example, lights. Now, you need to charge up your lights no matter what, so I do. In that case, having smart lights doesn't make any difference. They all need charging up. And in fact, actually, the smart lights that we unboxed a couple of months ago from C-Sense actually need charging up less because they're smart. So, smart tech in that situation is a winner. However, smart helmets, Dan, do not sound like my cup of tea. Firstly, I don't listen to music when I ride, so that's not really relevant. Secondly, I really don't want to take phone calls when I ride, or at least I want to have a pretty darn good excuse of why I'm not taking phone calls. And then finally, I really don't want to have to plug my helmet in order to charge it up. That just sounds rubbish.
Can I make a suggestion, Si?
Please do, mate.
Don't use a smart helmet.
No, I won't.
What about power meters, though? Because in some people's eyes, power meters have irrevocably changed pro cycling.
Yeah.
And what's my opinion on this? Well, I do think that they have changed pro cycling slightly, but I don't think we can reverse it because riders, managers and coaches have managed to find out what happens with a rider's body when they're racing outdoors versus being just in a laboratory. And I don't think anyone's going to unlearn that. So they all know how they should be feeling on a mountain. They know if somebody attacks and goes right into the red, they're probably going to come back before long. But the good thing is, I think, that things like the cobbled classics haven't been changed much at all by power meters.
No, I think you're right, but I would quite like to see what would happen just for a stage or two. Maybe power meters were banned, just to see whether or not the racing would change, whether we would get any more kind of flair or excitement, and whether in fact different riders rise to the top because maybe they're more in tune with their own bodies.
Yeah, a bit like the disc brake or radio ban, but without the safety aspects.
Yeah, let's try banning more stuff. Why not?
Now, as ever, we would love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Please don't sit on the fence like Peter Irving, who said garbage, all garbage. Really tell us what you think.
Yeah. Before we leave this subject once and for all, though, for this week, here is something really to add fuel on the fire of those of you that perhaps are not big fans of tech. This is a little video that's been doing the rounds, and it features the rider Andreas Fabricius, who, along with his mate, is riding from the northern tip of South America all the way down to the southern tip in aid of charity. And here he is, up a hill in Colombia, getting overtaken by a local farmer. A local farmer who apparently rides 100 k's a day, doing 2,000 metres of climbing. And he clearly knows how to ride a push bike. Look at that.
What power he's putting out.
If only he had a power meter.
Dom, intriguingly, has chosen to Instagram post for tweets of the week this week. We know that makes no sense. Maybe we should change it to social media post of the week.
Doesn't sound
Anyhow, first up is this one from Esteban Chavez, who's been working with a company to create his grin on these. Check these out.
That looks cool. We should give that to Lasty. Imagine how weird it would look if Lasty had a smile on his face.
I know, that would be totally weird, wouldn't it?
It would, right. Next up, we have this one from Strong Cycling. They've caught Peter Sagan, as they say, relaxing at the last possible moment before the start of the 2017 season. He's probably relaxing, but I suspect his mechanic's probably pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
Hey, tell you what, thinking about cool social media, make sure you follow GCN on Instagram, because Ben Swift is doing a takeover, isn't he?
At Global Cycling Network, you can find us there.
It's now time for Cycling Shorts.
We'll start Cycling Shorts this week with some fantastic news, because the very famous sculpture of a cow painted with cyclists and displayed on the top of one of the UK's most popular climbs has been found by police.
Found? Was he lost, was he?
Not lost, mate, stolen. Back in August. And a 40-year-old man has been arrested in connection with this.
How on earth did they find the man that did it?
I think someone grassed him up.
Moving swiftly on, you'll know that here at GCN we do love a bit of ultra endurance riding, and if you do too, you'll no doubt have heard the name Christoph Strasser. Now, his latest adventure is in Australia, where he's attempting to break the record for riding all the way from Sydney to Perth, which is 3,950 kilometres, no less. The record that he's trying to break is that of fellow Austrian Gerhard Gulewitz, and it looks, as we record this, as though Christoph is going to beat that record by in the region of 20 hours. In fact, by the time this comes out on YouTube, we'll know the answer. So with some clever editing, we can give a reaction.
Yay!
Well, yes,
Yay!
Nice one, Christoph.
Fantastic.
Knew you could do it.
Yeah.
Right, lots of you will be hoping for an update on John Chocolate Voice Bevan as he prepares himself for the Oat Route later on in 2017. John, how are you getting on?
I'm in the off season.
Off season?
I guess he's just done cyclocross, hasn't he?
That's right.
Well, fair enough. The Tour Down Under has just started, John, but all right. Anyway, one thing that John is going to be looking forward to is the fact that he has another event to choose from, because Haute Route announced just the other day that they have a 3-day event based around Alpe d'Huez in July, which includes a time trial up the famous 21 hairpin
Oh, wow.
bends. That does sound cool, doesn't it?
That is going to be hard, but an amazing experience, isn't it?
Yeah, but remember, John, the fitter you get, the shorter the time trial will be. The quicker the pain will be over.
Very, very true.
Worth bearing in mind that.
Wise words, Si. Right, WorldTour organisers also released their race info last week for the final Grand Tour of 2017. The Angliru makes a welcome return, but the whole 3 weeks kicks off in Nîmes in France with a team time trial. There are a total of 8 summit finishes, but also an individual time trial of 42 kilometres on stage 16, so it's going to be a brute.
They really are making the World Tour like the
Yeah.
hardest Grand Tour of the year, aren't they? That sounds savage. All right, sticking with World Tour for a moment, the final official kit launch for 2017 happened just the other day, and it was Trek Segafredo, who very kindly allowed Matt and Tom to hang out with them at their Mallorca training camp. They will be training in that fluorescent kit that we've already seen, which is all pretty cool. But have a look at this race kit.
Yeah, we've already voted pre-show, haven't we?
We have.
This is hot. Definitely. Talking of Mallorca, actually, we had a fantastic week out there with brilliant weather. And I think we should once again relive Matt's best moment where I led him out and he's out-sprinted one of the best sprinters in the modern peloton, Andre Greipel. Amazing.
When you say like beat, you mean kind of beaten by a whisker, right?
A win is a win, Si, as you very well know.
Well, a win is a win. My one question about this now is quite why Andre was braking before the line.
Great week, as I said, very pleasant weather. How are things back here in the UK?
Anyway, I was getting to check out the world's first ever bike made with the new wonder material, graphene. There's a full video on that coming soon. It was genuinely an awesome day, that. But you guys weren't actually the ones from GCN having the most amount of fun in the most amazing place. Have a look at this. This is our chairman riding in Peru.
Croker?
Yeah, how cool is that?
Right, we shall finish Cycling Shorts this time around with something you may have seen on our social media. It is Michał Kwiatkowski, former world champion of Team Sky, attempting to draw a bike in less than 10 seconds.
3, 2, 1, go. 10-second bike sketch. Very quick. Amazing geometry. Big Woo's got a chain set in there, handlebars already. He's got the seat pin. It's done. 2 seconds to spare. That'll do. It's like that's you're not allowed to do that. It's against the rules. No extra drawing. Although you did have 2 seconds spare, so I'll give you that. But do you want to just sign it there, Michał? Yeah. That's a pretty good looking bike. Let's turn that around once the signature's completed. Cool. That is pretty good. I think that's top 3 so far. 10-second bike sketch.
Last week, Pinarello unveiled their brand new road bike model, which is called the F10. And whilst we were in the sunnier climes of Mallorca, we got to check out Wout Poels' version of the bike, which we'll be using in 2017.
I tell you what, I like the look of that.
Yep, smart. Not smart, but it looks smart.
Yeah, I think we know what you mean.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, soon after it was announced, a small internet storm blew up because the Taiwanese manufacturer Velocity have claimed that Pinarello have stolen some of their intellectual property.
They do indeed. They say it relates to the down tube, which we focused on in that video, which has come over from the Bolide time trial bike at Pinarello. And the company say that they have infringed the patents they have in both China and Taiwan, which relates to the down tube on their Sin road bike model.
Yeah, I think this is a story that might go on and on, actually. Pinarello have strongly refuted the allegations, and they've said that currently they haven't been substantiated at all by Velocity. But you've got to say, those kind of patents are so important, particularly with aerodynamics, because ultimately we are all governed by the same laws of physics. So you would have thought that conceivably there will only be one most aerodynamic bike, which is why all aerodynamic bikes are starting to kind of converge into one spot.
Yeah. Interesting way of thinking about it. Anyway, another company who've released something new is group set giant Shimano. Perhaps not what you might be expecting. This is their new clothing range called the S-Fire. Now, as you can see, it's very sleek and fitted, and it is aimed at the top end of the market for performance riders. A few things were listed down on their press release in terms of what the kit does and how it performs. But the thing that really came out to me was their new chamois. Do you want to know what it's called?
Yes, please.
The shock absorbing winged chamois, which sounds like what I've been waiting for the last 36 years.
Wings? What have you been waiting for those for?
So I can fly.
Fly by the seat of your pants, literally.
Yeah.
Right, okay, now moving on in tech. You might wonder why Peter Sagan is here. Well, he has been causing something of a stir at the Tour Down Under in Adelaide, not just for his flamboyance and his wheelies, but for his bike. We've already seen the paint job on his new Vengevise. Have a look at these wheels. Oh my days. Gold!
Yeah. Before we pass our opinions on whether we think these are hot or not.
All right.
Do you remember when we said whether the World Tour kits were hot or not? And we said that Adam Blythe's white shorts of his National Champions kit were not hot.
I do remember that.
Well, we came in for some flack because of that, quite rightly so, because Adam Blythe is essentially a style icon and we are us, aren't
Yeah.
we? Not style icons.
Yeah, you got told off on Twitter by his mum, didn't you?
I did, yeah, and I thought that maybe it would be a good idea for new products like this if we get Adam Blythe's opinion. Do you want to know what it is?
Yes, please. That does sound like a good idea.
Adam Blythe says these wheels are hot. In fact, he goes as far as to say these are the hottest wheels he has ever seen.
No way.
With the added bonus that the gold around the rim is not going to fade because they're not rim brakes, they're disc brakes.
Always thinking, Adam.
But he's given a couple of pieces of advice. He thinks that the Chris King hubs in the centre should also be gold. And he also says the mechanics should put tyres on which have got white sidewalls. Very specific.
Very specific.
I'll tell you what, I agree with Adam.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with Adam as well.
idea.
Yes, a style icon. Yeah, eye for details. What about you guys though? What do you think? We want you to vote. Just up there, you will be able to say whether or not Sagan's new wheels are hot or not. You know what, mate? If I'm completely honest, I'm not entirely sure whether I do like those wheels. I think they might be a bit much.
I'm gonna stick with Adam.
Yeah, right. You do that.
It is time now for Hack / bodge of the week, and kicking things off is Oliver Reed, who spotted this when searching eBay for a track bike.
What?
I have absolutely no idea what's going on there.
Do you think he was using Siri and said, accidentally said crap bike, not track bike? Because that doesn't look like a track bike.
What I would definitely want if I rode that is a chamois that is shock absorbing and winged. Next up, we have this. So last week, you and Lassie talked about a bike where the position wasn't short enough for the rider. This one looks like a bike which didn't have a position long enough for the rider, sent in by Dan.
Is that a quill stem stuck in an A-head system? I mean, that is ingenious. That is definitely a cracking bodge, even if it's massively unsafe and just terrifying in every single way. If that's your bike, stop riding it now. Okay, Jez Ash. Hack to fix Richard Two Riders missing spacer.
Yeah, we've seen a few with zip ties, etc., haven't we? I've never seen a keyring before.
Yeah. You know what? Fair enough.
Hack. All right, we've also seen a few of these. How to raise your front wheel when you're on the indoor trainer, but never in this format. A tyre. This comes in from Luke McMullen. Yes, that is an old tyre off my van. Pretty slightly more, takes more space up than a Yellow Pages or phone book or something.
But imagine, because it will have a certain element of give in it, like realistic kind of road.
Hack.
I think that's a hack. Well done. That is an ingenious hack. I'm going to go and get an old tyre now. Leave it somewhere. All right, who's this one? Philly Hearn. Sorry, it's not my eyesight, it's just really small. Hey fellas, check out this beauty. Good grief.
I like that. It's got curvaceous handlebars, a ghetto blaster, and what looks like 2 spaces for beer bottles.
That's just not curvaceous handlebars. That's an old steering wheel. The beer bottle space. That's like your dream bike, mate, isn't it? You like your music, you like your beer, and you probably don't even need a wind chamois for that.
Right, we should finish Hack / bodge with this one from Cyclocarbon that you may have seen on the internet before now, but he's reminded of us on an Instagram post recently. This is a Trek time trial bike made into a Trek time trial fat bike.
I love this bike. I can't tell you how much I love it. That is amazing.
Looks a bit different, doesn't it?
That would be like my ultimate commuter bike. Imagine how fast you could go.
You might send you one over.
Comfort.
Anyway,
Yeah,
if you'd like to
we need to
submit
talk.
any hacks or bodges to the channel ready for next week's show, all you've got to do is leave them on social media with the hashtag GCNHack.
It's time now for caption of the week. Last week we gave you this photo of Marcel Kittel, and we went through literally thousands of entries. So thank you very much.
Well, over 1,000.
Literally 1,000
Yeah.
and more. And this was our favourite. This is from Camille McGregor, and she suggested, oh, fork, I really don't need this right now.
Nice caption.
I love it. We love a pun.
Get in touch with us on Facebook, Camille, and we'll be sending you out a GCN Camelback water bottle in the post as soon as possible. Next up is this week's photo, which is this one of Enrico Battolin of Team Lotto NL Jumbo with his helmet on backwards. We shall get you started. Battolin searches for marginal gains as he attempts the world record for cycling backwards. Not our best attempt.
Well, I mean, I'm not taking any credit for that. It's definitely
All right,
not your best attempt.
Not my best attempt, and I've never had any very good attempts. So you can probably beat that by leaving your suggestions in the comment section down below.
GCN WorldTour definitely up for grabs this week.
Yeah. The 2017 road race season has now officially begun. As ever, the Women's Santos Tour Down Under provides some very exciting racing. It's Orica Scott who have the pressure on their shoulders at that race, and they duly delivered on stage 1. Amanda Spratt went clear in the closing 20k to the 106km stage with 2 other riders, but she dropped them both and finished solo. And perhaps more importantly than that, she finished over a minute ahead of the main peloton, which was led in by friend of the channel, Alexis Ryan.
Yeah, stage 2 was won by Kirsten Wild of Silence Pro Cycling, and then stage 3 was won by Chloe Hosking.
The men have also started with the People's Choice Criterium in Adelaide, and that was won once again by Caleb Ewan, repeating his victory of 2016. He got the better of a very fast finishing Sam Bennett of Bora Hansgrohe, with his teammate Peter Sagan finishing in 3rd.
Do you think Sagan was supposed to be leading him out?
I've no idea, but he was finishing incredibly fast.
He was almost like he kind of forgot that it was the last lap and that he was coming from so far back, he just kind of...
He might have just got his positioning wrong. Just a thought.
Well,
anyway, make sure you
down.
keep your eye on the channel because we're going to have daily highlights of the Santos Tour Down Under when it starts.
Yep, and even though the road season has started, the cyclocross season is still going strong, and the World Cup moved down to Italy for round 8. It was a brutally technical circuit. Semi-frozen mud, which is probably one of the top 3 most slippery types of mud out there. But Marianne Vos showed just how multi-talented she is by taking her 2nd World Cup win of the season. And it must be said, I'm enjoying seeing her come back. That is brilliant to watch. Wout van Aert, surprise, surprise, took the men's event. That was his 4th World Cup win of the season. And with it, he clinches the overall, even though there's 1 round still to go.
Well done, Wout.
Yeah, Mathieu van der Poel wasn't there because he was training in Spain for the World Championships.
Sneaky.
Yeah, isn't it just devious? It's time now for comment of the week, and as ever, you guys have been definitely keeping us amused and entertained with the comments that you leave under our videos and on social media. First up, we've got this one in response to the first edit from the Tour Down Under. Christian Nikita said, our narrator, John Chocolate Voice Bevan, has the best voice after Morgan Freeman's and David Attenborough's. To be fair, I think John can rival both of them at the moment, actually.
Yeah, he's certainly overtaken us, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. Luciano Nano wrote, "No, you broke the F10's kickstand when you lifted to weigh it." This is, of course, in Wout Pool's thing over in Mallorca, Si.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mallorca.
Well noticed. While Stephen Taylor said, "Did Dan design Larsie's new hairdo?"
Well, yeah, it's funny that. This next one underneath from Ian Mellon, who said, Tom last shaved his hair, so has Dan. Oh, God. Does that mean Simon has the best hair?
No. Matt. Here's what you can expect to see on the Global Cycling Network channel this week. On Wednesday, we show you 4 training sessions which are going to help you get better on long climbs. And on a Thursday, we show you 7 ways to walk with your bike.
That's presuming that your training for long climbs isn't going very well.
Yeah, something for everyone there.
You've got to get off and push.
And then on Friday, it is Ask GC Anything.
Saturday's pro bike is Alberto Contador's brand new Trek Speed Concept TT bike. That's right, Bertie is back on a Trek, and we've had a look at it. Sunday, it's that graphene feature we were talking about earlier on. Is it the future of bike technology? And then on Monday, we're back in the workshop with another Maintenance Monday.
Don't forget that every day through the Santos Tour Down Under, there will be highlights on the channel. And then on Tuesday, it's back to the show.
It's time now for Extreme Corner. Now, this week isn't necessarily extreme in a dangerous sense, but the person doing it is clearly extremely talented. This is Sean W.J. Hurley. You've got to watch it to see. It's bonkers.
Extremely talented, although he didn't prove that he did the entire drawing whilst on the rollers, did he?
No, but to be fair, I always admire someone just riding their handed on rollers.
Yeah.
It's still something I can't get my head around. That is pretty good. Right, unfortunately, Dan, that's pretty much the end of the GCN show, isn't it? There is just one last thing to mention, and that is that you may have noticed when I was standing in the snow.
Oh, we didn't need them in Mallorca.
Filming about, no, I bet you didn't, filming about graphene, I might have been wearing one of these lovely jackets. And they are now for sale in the GCN shop.
Shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. along with lots of other things, such as mugs. Right, if you haven't already subscribed to the Global Cycling Network, you can do so by clicking on the globe. But after you've done that, you can also go on to these next 2 videos. If you want to see what all the fuss was about new bike tech and gadget at the Consumer Electronics Show, there's a video for that down there. Whilst Wout Poels' new F10 from Pinarello is in the other corner down there.